Thank you for joining me in this week's episode of Jason Stewart Photography. Now, I know that I've mentioned in a past episode on the rule of thirds that you never want to place your subject directly in the middle of your photograph. It is a telltale sign of a snapshot photographer, and snapshot photographers do not inspire anyone with their pictures, and they show that they have no compositional awareness when they're taking pictures. And that is why the rule of thirds has to become a compositional method that you're not only familiar with, but that you begin implementing into your photography on a regular basis, because it will take your photography to the next level, and you will begin seeing a drastic improvement with the images that you're taking. However, in this week's episode, I'm going to share with you how there will be certain times when you will need to break this rule. In this week's episode, I want to talk to you about a compositional method known as symmetry, or symmetrical composition. In symmetrical composition, the two halves of your photograph are usually mirror images of itself and create a beautifully aesthetic balance within your picture. But in order to take a symmetrically balanced photograph, your subject will typically need to be in the middle of your image. And even though symmetrical composition mirrors itself, it's important to know that it doesn't have to be a perfect mirror image in order to create symmetry. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. Today I want to share with you some of my images and show you how I created a symmetrical composition with the images. And I hope you're able to see what a dynamic impact it has on an image when you do create a symmetrical composition. Because when you begin looking for and capturing images with symmetry, you're going to see that it's going to add some creative flair to your photography portfolio. And so what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and take a look at some of the images that I've taken, and I want to show you how symmetry is everywhere. You can find symmetry out in nature, in wildlife, you can find symmetry in architecture, in buildings. Anywhere you go, you're going to see that there are going to be symmetrical compositions for you to photograph. And as you begin developing your eye as a photographer, it's going to get easier to start noticing these different compositional methods that are available to you. And so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the shots I have taken. Hopefully I'll be able to inspire you to get out there and start trying this for yourself. And so in this first image here, you can see that I've captured an environmental portrait of a friend of mine who has purchased a new electric bike. And as we were out riding, I was looking for a place to really capture a nice image of him. And when we came across this bridge, or I should say when we came underneath this bridge, I just thought it had beautiful symmetry. I thought it was going to make a really nice environmental portrait. And as you can see, I've completely ignored the rule of thirds, and I've placed him dead center in this picture. And the reason I placed him dead center in this picture is because I was trying to create a symmetrical composition. Not only are the pillars that are on the side of the bridge acting as a mirror image, but the bridge itself also plays a part in this symmetry. You can see down the center of the bridge there is a leading line that goes straight over and past his head, and this whole image just has a beautiful balance. There's just a really nice aesthetic quality to it, and with the leading lines, with the bridge going in the direction it's going, there's just a sense of movement and action in it. And so I'm really pleased with this image and how it's got such a beautiful symmetry to it. In this next image, you see once again that I'm using centered composition or symmetrical composition. I was down in San Diego at Balboa Park, and I captured an image of the Museum of Photographic Art. We have 3 identical arches on the bottom floor. On the middle floor, you can see that there are 3 identical windows, and also 3 identical doors on the first floor as well. Plus, we've got beautiful palm trees on the right side and the left side of this image, and all of it makes for a really beautiful Symmetrical Composition. I'm really happy with this photograph, and I think that it tells a beautiful story and a creative story of the Museum of Photographic Arts. Let's look at the next image. In this next image, you see I've taken another photograph down at Balboa Park, and this is of the arches that line the walkways at Balboa Park. And you can see that there's just a beautiful symmetry. It's aesthetically pleasing on the eye, and once again we see that architecture provides beautiful opportunities to capture symmetrical compositions. Well, I hope you can see that architecture provides endless opportunities for you to take symmetrical compositions, and when you capture a symmetrical composition in the right way, it really creates a visually appealing image. And what I want to do next, though, is I want to take you out to really my favorite place to be when I have a camera in hand, and that's out in the great outdoors. Let's look at how nature provides again, endless opportunities to take photographs with beautiful symmetry. In this image here, we see a symmetrical composition of the Grand Teton National Park. We've got the road in the middle of the image, and we have these beautiful trees that are mirroring each other on the left and right side of the image. And all of it just makes a beautiful symmetrical composition. Furthermore, the road acts as a leading line, pointing our eyes directly at the Grand Teton mountain range. This next image we see is a photograph that I captured of my wife, and this was a really significant day for us. We had just returned from a doctor's appointment with one of her cancer doctors, and so it was really a heavy day for us, and so we just decided to get out of town for a little while, and we went up into the mountains. And as my wife walked out onto the wooden deck and started looking out over the beautiful lake, I just felt compelled to take a picture of this moment because it was so significant. As she was out there just enjoying the beauty of nature, no doubt reflecting upon all that she and we as a family are going through right now, I just thought there was a beautiful story to tell as the lake was capturing the reflection of the beautiful fall colors of the trees and leaves. And I just thought that as my beautiful wife is out there just reflecting upon life, the lake itself was reflecting upon the beauty that was surrounding her and myself that day. And so I hope you can see that there are plenty of opportunities to tell very powerful stories with your camera. You just have to be looking for them. In this next image, I captured another photograph at the lake we were at. So it's the same lake, just from a different location, and I really like the composition. It was just a very tranquil effect that it was having upon me as I was just looking out over the lake from this position. But you can see how, again, there is a symmetrical composition, and the lake is providing a mirror image of the fall colors from the trees. Here's another image that I captured with symmetrical composition, and this is a photograph I took at the Grand Teton National Park, and this is up at Two Ocean Lake, and you can just see again what a striking image this is because it has symmetrical appeal, and the lake itself is just beautifully reflecting back as a mirror image the mountaintop and sky above. Here's another symmetrical composition I captured while on a hike in Utah. This was a hike that I did around Alpine Pond Trail, and as you can see, I captured a powerful symmetrical composition. The lake is perfectly mirroring the trees and the grass and the surroundings, and I'm very happy with this image. It's actually on the cover of my Great Outdoors 2021 calendar. And so if you haven't picked up a calendar for 2021 yet, I offer them on my website at jasonstewartphotography.net. Be sure to pick one up. Or if you prefer wildlife, I also have a wildlife calendar for 2021, but you can pick them up on my website. And the final image we see here is of two horses that I captured while visiting some family in Bozeman, Montana. And as you can see, these horses are not a mirror image of one another. However, this is most certainly a symmetrical composition. There's beautiful symmetry here that is just aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. You've got both horses posing in the same manner and both of them looking directly at me, and it just creates a beautiful symmetry. Really, really nice on the eyes. And I just happen to be blessed to be able to photograph two very beautiful horses. Well, I hope I've been able to show you what a powerful and dramatic impact symmetrical composition can have upon your images. Now, the goal isn't to use symmetrical composition every time you take your camera out. You want to be focusing more on rule of thirds, leading lines, and all of the different compositional methods that are available to you. But I do want to encourage you to begin looking for symmetry when you're out in nature and when you're just out and about in life, because the more you begin to discover symmetrical lines and leading lines and all of the various compositional methods that are available to you as a photographer, you are going to develop your photographer's eye in a very powerful way, and images are going to just start popping out to you. But it does take some work, and it takes some discipline and dedication on your part to do that. Well, before I say goodbye, just want to ask, if you found this episode helpful, can you do me a huge favor and hit the like button? And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and that would just be a huge encouragement if you would subscribe, and hope to see you next week. But until then, go out and capture the world.